Hey, this is Alex Rome, and today we're doing an Illenium style drop. And the reason we're doing an Illenium style drop is because it's very, very requested. I did an Illenium video before, but it's actually Illenium style leads. That was what the video was called. It wasn't a drop. So what I want to do was just remake a drop. And this is one of the highest requested ones. So down here, if you see the name, Flume Say It, featuring Tuvlo, Illenium Remix. That is what we're going to be remaking. So the chords I was able to hear in that song sound like this. So we have to turn those into something electronic. Now these kicks here, that's just like a little short kick with a lot of reverb on it. And so I was able to make something that sounds quite like the kick that was used in that drop. It's not 100%, but it is pretty nice. It's a nice kick. It sounds good with a lot of layers, like a lot of, sounds over it. It sounds really good, especially with sidechain. So let's go and take these chords here, right here. And we're going to open up Alchemy. We gotta make something that sounds, decent. Sounds good. Now, you know what? Not decent. We need something that sounds good, right? Yeah, that's what we do here. Decent doesn't just pass here. We need something that sounds good. Okay, so that's what we get straight away, but I'm gonna oops, wrong dial. You'll see. This dial. Sounds good, but we could get it sounding better. We needed to do that arpeggiated thing. So we got to come down here and arp up the chords. Sounding closer, but we're still not there yet. So we're gonna need to do is shape this until we get it sounding like what we want it to sound like. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add another layer on top of this, but this one's going to be 12 semitones up. So now we're rocking a synth with 2 octaves of sound. Now we get something like this. But we still need to go one more octave up to get that bright, high synth. This one's going to be a little quieter though. Because these synths are usually, when you go this high, they're usually in the background, kind of making some reverb, whatever. Okay, so now what we need to do is, I'm just going to throw a compressor on it just straight away, just so I have an idea of what it's going to sound like later. And when you're compressing, or when I'm compressing a sound like this, like a little tight stabby thing, I like to have a short release and then a bigger attack so that that transient can kind of squeeze through. And we can actually see that here. So you see that red line is the compressor working, and so what it's going to do is the attack of this sound is going to hit, and then this is going to come in after the attack of the sound hits and kind of round out the back of it and make it more of a steady sound. And then sometimes I even go crazy. I'll add like up to 2 or 3 of those just to round out a sound, make it sound like what we want it to sound like. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to EQ this just so we have room to throw our sub bass in there. this, I want to cheat and not have to go up too far, so I'm going to stay down here right now just to see if I can throw a little bit of sub underneath of this and make it sound dope. Let's get rid of that. So what I just did was I duplicated this, but now what we're gonna have to do is basically restart this alchemy and make something that sounds more like a bass line. Whoops. Let's mute these guys. I hate that sound. Like a really low pitched saw, and my headphones are really loud right now. Oh, that's interesting. I never actually noticed Alchemy had these interesting looking signs. So we don't gotta go too crazy on this. We don't have to go too crazy on this, but we want to add a little bit of harmonics, and we're gonna do that with overdrive. Okay, so let's go. Okay, so we can work with this for now. So to make this drop pop, believe it or not, it's not like these simple leads, because the leads and bass to this drop are too simple almost. But they're not the things that's gonna make you be like, holy shit, like I just remade a style drop like Illenium. He takes side chaining like really hard. He makes these things pop with side chaining, so we're gonna do that. And you guys have been telling me there are different ways to side chain, but I do like side chaining through a bus, so that's what I'm going to do. And a ghost kick like so. And so right now I'm gonna side chain these chords to this kick. Your side chaining plugin could be anything. It could be Kickstart from Nicky Monero, which is only $15 right now. I think that's like a killer deal. Wait, Kickstart actually? I don't know if Kickstart will even work for a rhythm like this. I think it actually only works for 128 BPM. But anyway, your side chain plugin of choice, anything like any compressor will work for this. I just like using this one because it's a very hard compressor. Compresses very nicely, and sidechain's like really nice. Okay, so I knew this was gonna have trouble. Right now I'm just getting a little feedback from the kick, because this kick is gigantic. As you can see, it just looks like a bouncy ball. So what we need to do is kind of make these uniform. And this is an issue, so pay attention to this. If you get a lot of feedback on your sidechain signal, it's because your actual signal thing is not something you should have. So this looks like a mess here. That kick, it's fairly dynamic for like a sub bass signal. So what I'm gonna do is just shorten it up, get some of the mess out of there, and see if I can work with that. It's very important, and I like to just drive that down. Let's see what we got. So now what we need to do is sparkle these things up just a little bit. Let's throw some space around them. I'll start up here and work down. I like the sound of this reverb, but it's really, really long. And so now what we need to do is we need to do the same thing to this bass line. This bass line is quite small. I want to make it a little bit bigger, but whatever. Let's just that was the weirdest breath in I've ever took. I apologize. I just like inhaled quite deeply. Anyway, yeah, back on track. Let's get our compressor here. So I see there's a compressor already on here. Oh, it's not even compressing. Alright, so I don't need to worry about that. But what I do need to do is get this side chaining. And if this was one of my songs, I'd spend a lot of time getting this bass line to really pop. So side chaining sub bass. There we go. And let's just do like one last thing here. Okay. So what I need to do now is add some more percussion to make this really ring out. So what I'm going to do is refer back to the original real quick. I'll come back and add the rest to this. Okay, so clearly that snare sees no light of day. So, does anybody know what you can do to fix that? Think. Sidechain. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our sidechain signal that we already have and kind of cater it to these snares. So what I like to do with snares, since they're a bit smaller than the kick, I like to shorten up the signal that happens to hit the snares. So they're not the sidechain signal that hits the snare is a little bit shorter than the one that hits the kick. So we'll get something like this. Oh shit. Well, let me get this. And let's go here. Whoops. BPM still sounds a little slow. Okay, and so now we just have to spice everything up. We got to throw a layer on this snare that kind of gives that little bit of ring to it. I heard a couple guys do this. Sanhola was the big guy who did this. The first guy I heard, he has like this dubsteppy sounding snare. It's like really tight dubsteppy sounding snare. Now, and this snare I could honestly tighten this up too. That wouldn't be a bad idea.